I've got a few things that didn't come off here with the navel jelly. So that's Loctite navel jelly. Did a pretty good job on the cast iron. And then I went back through and I hit it with some steel wool and some WD-40. There's still a few imperfections there. I was gonna hit it with some sandpaper, but thought better of it. I'm gonna go over it with a razor blade and just see how much of it will come out with that before I hit it with any sand. And this is where that residue is here. I think that's some kind of glue or something, but I'm pretty sure that'll come out with this too. So no real need to, looks like, to break out any sandpaper. I think doing it with this is gonna work just fine. I think that worked pretty good. I think I'll wipe that down. It'll be ready for wax. All right, so I've hit it with a razor on both sides, and I'm just gonna wipe it down with a cloth. Make sure everything is, all the dust is removed. And once I've done that, I'm gonna go through with some wax. I'll go over it. Let's see here, where I got that stuff. So that's paste finishing wax, and I've used that stuff for years. I used it on all my cast iron, on my Mark V. I used it on the way tubes. That can will probably last me 20 years. It lasts really, really long time. And to get into that, let's see. I have a screwdriver lying around here. Let's see. It's not in there real tight. So I just keep that sponge in there when I need it. See, it's well used, but that's all I use this for. And it's got wax on it already. Grab a little bit more if I need it, and I'm just going to start rubbing that in here on the cast iron. So I'll turn this around so you can see a little bit better, and I'll start working that stuff in. So here you can see it kind of haze on there a little bit. Fiber cloth. Bought a pack of these, I think from Sam's Club. I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it was just a big bulk pack, and I've used them for just about everything. I'm probably on my last 1 or 2 rags. They start to load up after a while, and I could probably wash these, but my wife would probably kill me if I use her machine for that. So yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Nice. Feels like wet glass, as it should. So I'm thinking that's ready to feed some material through it. I checked the blades. All the blades look pretty good. We can turn it around. I've got to wipe this down a little bit, but I had scrubbed it down with some WD-40 just to kind of clean up some of the rust. to get all of that off there if I can. These blades are in good shape. Probably wouldn't hurt to sharpen them a little bit, but before I get too carried away, I'm going to run some board through it and just see how it does without sharpening the blades. There's a jig that you can get from Shopsmith. I can't remember how much it is. I want to say it's around $100. I'm expecting minimum snipe just because of the way this is made. You know, this is a single piece cast iron. It's going to be basically dead flat all the way across. So it should come out real clean. So I'm looking forward to that. And here towards the end, at the end of this video, I'll run some test cuts and we'll see. All right, so fun fact, when rinsing out all of that jelly with a hose, you gotta kind of expect some stuff to get wet, right? So I thought it was my, you know, maybe the motor just pulling too much current and blowing my breaker, but that's not really the case. So pull this cover off and we're full of water. Look at that. The water broke on my planer. Yeah. If you're gonna wash it out with water, when you clean that table, make sure you empty out all the water. It's still draining. Look at that. Jeez. This segment brought to you by Revlon because, well, hair dryers get things done. And I had to dry that out a bit, put it up to the motor a bit, and guess what? If I go over here and I turn this on after dropping all that water out, woohoo! Yeah, baby. We got power now. All right, so we're cooking with gas. Grab that. And I've got that all dried out good. See, it's still wet down there. I'm about to feed this board through. You can see it's got some burn marks from my table saw blade. The blade I was using was pretty ratty, and it started to lock up a lot when I was making this cut. You can see there's some pretty nice figuring on here. So I think once all these burn marks are taken out, it should look pretty good. So we're gonna see how that looks right now. So something I noticed is that my dust collection is not working really well. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, the Shopsmith dust collector is only like a 2.5-inch hose. And the other part of that is that I don't have the appropriate fitting for the dust collection hose to connect to on this planer. So that's probably something I'll have to buy. I may look into a modification for a 4-inch hose because I do have a jet dust collector that has a 4-inch hose for it and would probably do a much better job. But as it stands, I basically captured none of the chips. You'll see downstream of this that, you know, it's just all collected up on the planer bed. And you can see some here, but there's definitely a lot more on the other side. Once I open this up, you'll see a ton of chips. I'm just going to take it, I'm going to compress it with some wax and make fire starter out of it because, well, I can, and then I don't have to buy a fire starter for my grill. All right. So So that took out most of the burn marks. Some of them are a little deeper than I expected. But see there, that looks really, really nice. Come down that board. It's pretty clean. It's really smooth. And this blade could probably use a little bit of touch-ups here and there. And there's a knot here, so I mean, you can only do so much there, but the figure is really nice. Minimal sanding I think would need to be done. Now, it looks and feels pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what I'm getting out of this so far. I think that ultimately I'll need to sharpen those blades a little bit, but that's a good start. So that's left inside the planer underneath the dust hood. So the collector hooks up here. It's supposed to suck everything up, but not a great job. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I might mix this with a little bit of wax, crumble it all together, and use it for a fire starter for my grill, charcoal grill. So we'll see. If I decide to do that, I'll make a different video for it. But not really happy with the dust collection there. I'm pretty sure that if I hooked up my jet, that I'll get a lot better suction out of it with a 4-inch hose versus the Shopsmith. Huge difference in power, so we'll see how that turns out. All right, coming soon. So who's this planer for? I would say anybody that needs a 12-inch planer and no more than 4 inches of depth. This is a fantastic planer. If you're looking at a benchtop planer, I would consider one of these first. There's no reason to buy a big box store planer over one of these. They're used and they're old, but they are amazing and the motors will last forever. My 2 cents, take it for what it's worth. If you like the content, hit the like and subscribe. Hit that ring bell, and there will be more content coming your way.